Lucky Boys Podcast.
Having that energy, with these people that I've just been observing and speaking to, that they're able to find success and actually thrive during COVID, which is mind-blowing.
Right.
How do you, I mean, you said you're doing that for accounting, so I guess I could see, like, you're the right guy, I guess, to kind of fit in a place where it's not such a happy place.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of that is personality, right? You gotta always find, you gotta find a way to give yourself hope. You know what I mean? And I think that,
How do you do that, though? It's really easy to say,
it's hard,
extremely challenging to do.
Yes. I think I had a lot of anxiety during COVID.
Yeah.
I think there was, I think that fortunately enough, I self-diagnosed myself when I saw this Instagram post. I think I have like really good high functioning anxiety when I do have it. So like I'm able to function under it. So like
So you don't collapse.
Yeah,
you don't, because a lot of people high anxiety, what they'll do is they'll shut down and just build walls all around them.
Yeah. I mean, like
Avoidance.
I think it was the first time I ever experienced like an anxiety episode. You know, of thinking a lot and thinking very deeply, thinking about, because like for me, I'm a very big chess player. You know, I like to see different outcomes. I like to play that out in my head. And I like to see what could be the results, and I like to make a decision based on that. And because of COVID, dude, like my moves were stuck, you know? Like it wasn't moves that I can control anymore. It was like the government said we had to shut down, and where was the light at the end of the tunnel? They didn't say. So it's like there was no planning for reopening because I didn't know when reopening was.
So you didn't see the outcome.
Yeah. So it's like
it was all total doom and gloom.
Yeah. So like, I mean, let's talk about that.
So how did you find hope, right? That's crazy.
I mean, let's talk about that because I feel like not a lot of the stories that I've ever listened to talk about like the downside of all this, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because
let's dive in.
I think a lot of people do see the bright side, and I think it's tough because when you're in that element, it's really hard to crawl out. And you know what, COVID, I learned a really big lesson from COVID, even I myself as a chess player, was you got to live day by day sometimes. You can't live too far in the future. You can't live too far in the past. You have to learn how to take it one day at a time when you encounter a challenge like that.
Be present.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the moves are not up to you anymore. You know, the control is not in your hand. And the only way you can place that control back into your own hands is if you live in the present. And so like presently, I thought about it as, okay, number one, I don't know when we're going to reopen. Number two, yes, we're losing a ton of money right now. We're getting drained. Will we have to close? Maybe. Let's see how long we can last. Then I gave myself a time period for that runway. If we're not reopening by 6 months, it's time to turn down the lease. It's time to fold. You know what I mean? I made.
Wow, that's a tough conversation.
Yeah. I made it very, very realistic for myself. Like, if the upside is not gonna return, we would have to pull the trigger to close it. I also looked at the situation and said, hey, what can I do, right? How can I keep the people together? How can I keep my team together? What can I do to continue to help people feel good at this time? And so, fortunately enough, my team is, honestly, like the team, like I am and we are where we are because of the whole team. And every single day we would hop on Zoom meetings together and just have like conversations, talk about what's going on. And every day we connected throughout the whole quarantine. I think we had like maybe Sunday and Saturdays we didn't meet, but like some days if guys wanted to meet, we would hop on anyways. And like we would just talk, and no matter what, as busy as everybody was busy, whether it's playing video games or whatever it is, we carved out a little bit of time for each other.
That's beautiful.
And then we were just trying to help each other stay focused, like, oh, let's improve on speaking skills. Let's do writing exercises. And I saw,
and this is a collective of barbers having this discussion.
Yes, and it's outside of the nature of barbering for barbers to do that. But I made that a goal for them because I wanted them to have something to focus on. Because if your mind was to run wild like mine and like go in all these directions, it's like it's so hard. Yeah. So I wanted them to stay focused on something where they can work on something to improve themselves during this time. Because we're not working right now, you know, and it's so easy to kind of get lost in the sauce when you're not doing anything. So I wanted to give them a little bit of like hope, like I was talking about, And so I was like, I would come in with pep talk. We would listen to a TED talk together and share our feedback on what we thought about it. We listened to this one episode about like, what types of people to invest in and how we can become those type of people.
I saw that one.
Yeah, on the TED talk, right? Yeah. And like it talks about how, like, what type of characteristics would you look for, Would it be someone that runs straight, and straight into a brick wall, or someone that knows how to pivot out of it? We watched this marshmallow eating video where it's like, which type of, like, how they put the marshmallow in front of the kid and then they see which type of kid eats it and which type of kid would grow up into like a leader, and then like based on like that one decision.
Right. What is it? If you give you one now, I'll give you one
option.
marshmallow now, or I'll give you two later.
Yeah,
right.
I give you
and then you see the kids start
the kid
thinking,
that thinks long term.
Yeah,
those are the kids that usually turn out to be more successful in life.
Yes. Right. And then we were just doing stuff like that, just watching videos and having discussions. And at that time, it was very trivial. Like I would be like, "Yo, we'll do this," and then we can edit the videos, and then we can drop them as like, like little pieces of content. We never ended up doing it, but the whole idea was to get them motivated and have hope. And I think that's very, very big. Living at the living presently, I realized at the time the only thing that I could do to give myself hope was to work on myself. So I learned how to cook everything I wanted to eat. Fried chicken.
Oh man.
Yeah. like the Japanese pancake.
Yes, the fluffy joints.
Yeah.
I love those. Yeah.
And then like it was just like learning how to cook for yourself, learning how to do things for yourself, learning how to find happiness when everything was closed. I don't normally watch a lot of TV, but like I hopped on a couple of series, and like I enjoyed watching a Netflix series for once.
Yeah, it's huge being there for each other. I mean, you're touched. I mean, we hear a lot of uplifting stories, and we touched on that in our previous podcast. But there's sides that aren't sexy, and not enough people kind of talk about it and address it, and then figure out how to move beyond that.
Yeah, I think the number one thing that I want people to understand, right? Because I think a lot of people take that leap to say that they want to be a businessman, they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to be somebody who's disruptive in the space. And I think I want people to recognize that it's a shit ton of hard work, and the fruits of the labor is not the money. So if you're going into any of these projects or ambitions with the idea that there's going to be a lot of money, there's going to be the big bag at the end of the day, you're not going to make it too far. You know what I mean? Because you're constantly looking at the wrong thing. I think that what you have to go into, and you have to have this mindset ready when you're about to go into a business, is that this is going to be a great learning journey. That you're going to grow out of it professionally, personally. You're going to reflect every day, and you're going to realize how far you've come from 1 year ago. And every single one of my dudes in the space that are on my team, they're here for the big bag at the end of the day. Yeah, that's true. But number one, the priority is that you're here to grow.